Now on to the next principle. You must chop down the oak one swing at a time. Can you read this quote here?
Henceforth, I will consider each day's effort as but one blow of my blade against a mighty oak. The first blow may cause not a tremor in the wood, nor the second, nor the third. Each blow of itself may be trifling and seem of no consequence. Yet from childish swipes the oak will eventually tumble. So it will be my efforts of today. I will be likened to the raindrop which washes away the mountain, the ant who devours a tiger, the star who brightens the earth, the slave who builds a pyramid. I will build my castle one brick at a time, for I know that small attempts repeated will complete any undertaking. I will persist until I succeed.
So persist until you succeed, okay? Persist until you succeed. Not if you succeed, but until, okay? So persist until you succeed. So let's just get a visual. Have you done any tree chopping in your lifetime? Have you ever chopped a tree?
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, it says, are oaks pretty, thick trees? I mean, are they pretty big?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So an oak tree is a pretty big deal there. So if you and I are up here and we're going to take a whack at that tree, right? We're going to hit it with that axe. How many times do you think you have to hit it to get through? I mean, if you're going to, hit a little here, hit a little here, hit a little here, hit a little here, keep doing this, I mean, how long till you knock it over?
Well, a lot.
For a mature tree, I mean, 100, 10, 20?
100.
100. Now I'm going to give you some stats that just blow my mind, and I'll have Marshall put some of the stats up on the screen here. But one is Thomas Edison. We've all read that story. He had 10,000 failed experiments logged before they, over 10,000, so maybe 11,000. Failed experiments logged before they finally came up with the first working light bulb. That is crazy. Have you ever thought about how that would feel if you failed that much, right? Think about this. Again, that's just a light bulb. But think about Steve Jobs and how many attempts he had to try to get funding before he funded Apple. The story is that he went to all of the venture capital firms in Silicon Valley one time. And it's documented in the movie about his life and his book by Walter Isaacson. But he basically went to go for funding and they said no. So then he went back again. And he went back again. Apparently on the third time through, he was able to get one guy to meet him at his house. But how many attempts was that? It looks as though, and again, the numbers are kind of fuzzy because at that age of his life, he wasn't journaling every single thing. But it's estimated he did 300 pitches before he was able to get any funding. 300. So I throw that back to you for a second. To get funding for your business, what if you could just commit to getting 2 presentations every week? If you gave 2 a week.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
But how long would it take you? Think about Steve Jobs. He was able to get funding after 300 rejections. Now, what I didn't tell you is he got those rejections in a period of less than 2 years. So if you wanted to fail 300 times this year, how many times do you have to fail a week? Like 6, right?
Right.
So if we're going to fail in 2, let's say we have 2 years to fund this baby, then you need to have 3 rejections a week. You see what I mean? So I would encourage you to begin to, it's kind of like the visual here. Getting funding is like chopping down a tree. This is how funding is. Funding is not, I think a lot of people feel like funding is this. People feel like funding is like, those little baby trees that they have at the nurseries where they're like, there's like a pole that has to hold them. There's like a pole that has to kind of hold them up. 'Cause you know what I'm saying? They're little baby trees. And they're super thin. And they have like a pole at the nursery that holds them up because the tree's maybe 5 inches around or 3 inches around. A lot of people feel like, they're just going to walk up and take one swing of an axe because they have the perfect idea. They're going to find the perfect idea axe and just and knock it down. Well, if you do knock down a perfect tree, if you knock down a tree in one axe swipe, I promise you, it's probably one of those little twig trees that has to be held up and supported by a, So anybody who's willing to invest in you, who has a sound mind, who doesn't put up some resistance, is probably not financially solvent enough to really fund your idea.